Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. Your host here, Matt Zahab. We are buzzing as always, and I'm super pumped to have today's guest on the show. I've met this guy in person. He is extremely smart and is a chiseled vet in an industry that us crypto folks should candidly, and pardon my French, be scared shitless of. It's one of the few things that can actually break crypto, and I can't wait to get into this. Today we have the one and only Andrew Chung on the show today. 25 years of experience as a public CEO and CTO at O1 Quantum Inc. Previously O1 Communique before the rebrand a couple weeks ago. He's consistently spearheaded cutting-edge innovation-driven product development, resulting in a portfolio of 9 patents within the computer software industry. Notably, his outstanding contributions were recognized with a nomination for the prestigious Ernst and Young Entrepreneur-Of-The-Year in 2001. Present day, not just cybersecurity, but everything quantum related, and more specifically, post-quantum related. Speaking of post-quantum, you're going to hear the acronym PQC a bunch of times today, folks. That refers to post-quantum cryptography, and this is leveraging NIST-approved quantum-resistant algorithms, which we will get into, as this is the secret sauce and literally the key, the technological key to keep our beautiful crypto magic money dollars safe. Andrew, welcome to the show, my friend. Pumped to have you on. How you doing this lovely afternoon?
Very good. How you doing, Matt? Very nice having me here. I am very glad.
Likewise, my friend. Pumped to see you again. Let's jump right into it. I mean, I don't think we've had one guest on the show who's been a CEO for 25 years straight. Pretty bananas. Maybe just to set the stage, to set the table for all the listeners before we get into the nitty gritty. And guys, we are going to get into the nitty gritty today. Let everyone know a little bit about your career and maybe just, some learnings from 25 years as CEO. And then we'll talk about all of the post-quantum cryptography stuff that you and the team are working on present day. So the table is yours, my friend.
Yeah, sure. Won't spend too many minutes in this. Like 25 years in the high-tech industry is a long time, if not like 2 or 3 different generations already. So definitely we didn't start doing what we're doing today. We are definitely not a startup. And our legacy product offering was in the remote access side. So we are providing remote access services for a lot of larger companies in the world, such as like Hitachi in Japan alone has many tens of thousands of customers using our product. But then from the remote access morphing into what we're doing today, a lot of people thought, how does it relate to cybersecurity, or more specifically, is post-quantum cybersecurity? They are very related, because in a remote access business, you can imagine that if the remote access channel ever got hacked, once is enough. The whole business would go down the tube. So we pay very high attention to the development of cybersecurity, and having a division which is quite invisible to the public that is monitoring very closely the development of cybersecurity. And then it come to our attention of what we're doing today, some years ago, which I'm going to suspend a little bit here until you ask me, to explain how does it come to where we are now.
Love that. So again, huge partnership with Hitachi, one of the most reputable businesses in the whole world, huge electronics business. I feel like even us, Canadians and Americans across the pond know what Hitachi is as well. Present day, and we'll get into the partnership with the new blockchain group as well. We'll save that for later on in the show. But let's talk about crypto and quantum computing. A little bit of and I'll butcher this, but I'll give it my best shot here, Andrew. A little bit of the history in quantum computing. We don't need to get into the early history, but present day, over the last couple of years, we've seen exponential breakthroughs in regards to quantum computing. A couple of years ago, everyone said Q-Day, and Q-Day refers to the day where quantum computing can break current encryption and cryptographic standards. Everyone thought that was, 2050, and then a couple of years later, it was 2045, then a couple of years later, it was 2040, 2035. Present day, I believe it's 2029. So we have like 3.5 years to get our ducks in a row before quantum computing can potentially hack current cryptographic standards and encryption models. That is, as I like to call it, very no bueno, and we should be very scared about that. Set the stage about Q-Day, current cryptographic standards, what works right now, and tie that into how quickly quantum is growing and how scared we should candidly be.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe I can start from where I kind of left off a couple of minutes ago. Like the first time when we came across the term of quantum computer, that was like many years ago. I was now counting maybe 13 years ago, when that name hasn't even been registered in any people's mind. Our crypto scientist, Professor Bassett, came to me 13 years ago. He said, Andrew, you got to pay attention to the development of quantum computers, because their excessive computing power is going to render everything that we use today to protect our everyday internet life totally useless, including remote access, cryptocurrencies, and everything, right? So I was kind of like skeptical. What I said back was like, Doc, I heard about quantum computer when I was 6 years old from Mr. Spock, and are you sure this is not another Star Trek fantasy? So he says, Andrew, you keep looking at it. One day if you change your mind, come back to me. And then I kept watching the development. And then I would say about 7 years ago, I saw that IBM, Google, Honeywell, D-Wave, they're all starting to pour billions of dollars into the development of quantum computer. And then I went back to Professor, said, Doc, you're right. Mr. Spock is here. So let's start a new division, a new business unit called Iron Cap, so that the focus is in post-quantum cybersecurity, PQC, the term that you just mentioned. So that since then, we spent about, I would say, 4 years in totally buried R&D, developing the encryption engine based on the NIST, the National Institution of Standard and Technology recommendation. And then thereafter, we're starting to market to the worldwide partners such as Hitachi, CGI, Thales, the name, around the world. So that PQC market has been in talk, like you said, for many years. And originally people thought, hey, this is, something, for 30 years later. But then it keeps changing. The timeline keeps moving up, every year gone by. So the first thing that people really waking up, was actually about seven months ago, when Google announced their error correction technology for quantum qubits, meaning that they can really create efficient quantum computing. And then 2 months later, IBM, Microsoft also announced the Majorana 1 topological core technology that allows integration of more than 1 million qubits into one single chip. So combining the Google and the Microsoft announcement was a real game changer. And then shortly after that, Honeywell also announced that, it was like maybe 4 months ago, Honeywell also announced that they are going to have a new version of quantum computer going to be released later this year. They haven't done it yet, but they said later this year, they will release a new version that is going to be 1 billion times faster, 1 billion times faster than the predecessor. Then IBM also not falling behind. About 6 weeks ago, I would say, they announced their latest roadmap, of the quantum computer. And that actually culminated in what you just said, Matt, was they are expecting the delivery of Loon later this year, followed by Kookaburra in 2026, and then culminated in the full-scale fault-tolerant quantum computer by 2029. So full-scale fault-tolerant quantum computer, meaning that will be powerful enough to crack the current encryption like RSA or elliptic curve, which elliptic curve, as we all know, was the bedrock for cryptocurrencies. And
100%.
so that's the major issue here.
Jeez Louise. Okay, let's talk about, just because I feel like a lot of folks, I've been fortunate to obviously have met you, and you've taught me a heck of a lot in the quantum sort of crypto space. Walk us through how current encryption works and how quantum computing can brute force this shit out of current cryptographic standards. I'd love if you could explain that relationship, just so everyone sort of knows how this whole thing works.
Absolutely. That's a very, very good question. Everywhere I go, I almost face a question similar to that in one way or the other. So fundamentally, I need to bring back to, how does the current encryption in the world is secure, before Q-Day? So you may be surprised how simple it is. Basically, whatever you use today, whether this transaction here or cryptocurrencies or remote access or browser, everything were based on either RSA or elliptic curve encryption. So the RSA and elliptic curve encryption is also based on something sounds very simple. It is just high school math. If I go back to high school math, you probably remember what is
Andrew,
a semi-prime number.
It is not high school. It is high level high school math. I would okay, keep going, but it is not high school math.
Yeah.
This is genius math, but continue.
Yeah, so it's like you may be surprised. Like semi-prime, if you have two prime number, you multiply them together, you get a semi-prime number that can only be factored back into the original two prime number that make it up. So if I give you 21, within a split second, you can come back and say 3 and 7. So if I slightly raise the bar to 221, I think it would take you more than a few seconds to come back saying 13 and 17. So if I raise the bar to a very large 500-digit long semi-prime number, guess how long it would take for today's computer, supercomputer, to not quantum computer, the supercomputer to factor that back into the original very large number?
Couple months, couple years?
150 years.
Wow.
So that's basically why they believe it's safe, because it is longer than the average lifespan of a human to brute force the key, from the public key back to the private key. So this is the fundamental thing. But then, the quantum computing speed, you're talking about millions times faster. And Honeywell even said they are billion times faster. We yet to see it. Okay, let's say few million times faster than the current computer. You simply divide that 150 years by a couple million, and you're arriving into millions, even eventually seconds or milliseconds. Then you can brute force. That's the fundamental problem. Okay, so then what happened, is that this kind of a study is not new. RSA and elliptic curve has been trusted by the world for like the last 45 years already. So the way to protect was simply, again, very simple, because the RSA and the elliptic curve, the fundamental encryption were math-based. So the thing to do that would be to apply some kind of non-math-based encryption. So when it's come to non-math-based encryption, that means the powerful quantum computer has no advantage over the current computer. They are level up the game. Again, it will still take 150 years or more for quantum computer to do it. They level the game. That is PQC, post-quantum cryptography, that the world should be in right now.
Yeah, okay. I mean, every time I do one of these quantum pods, I always, my hands get a little sweaty. I get a little anxious, and I'm not an anxious guy in any capacity. Very grateful for that, but it does scare the living, bejeepers out of me. In a couple of years, Andrew, low-hanging fruit. What's first? If you are a North Korean hacker, or if you are a Russian hacker, or I always put those two countries down, so my apologies to any good North Koreans and Russians listening. My apologies, guys. But if you are a hacker, Andrew, and you get access to a quantum computer, which will cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but if you get access to one of these state-of-the-art enterprise quantum computers, what is first? Is it Satoshi's Bitcoin wallet with 1 million Bitcoin? Not $1 million in Bitcoin, folks. 1 million BTC. Is it the Ethereum Foundation? Is it the Solana Foundation? Is it Binance? Is it Coinbase? Is it Wintermute? Who is the most at risk once Q Day comes? If we don't get our ducks in a row and we don't have PQC tech by then.
Yeah, and I think the answer depends who you are. Like if you're a national level, you probably would target the national security first, obviously, like the encryption of infrastructure, the power plant, all those kind of things. That is like the World War. Like they will target those kind of things first. But then if you are the second layer down, right, you probably would target the lower hanging fruit would be cryptocurrencies, definitely. Now, immediately when you're thinking about cryptocurrency, you think about the Satoshi wallet, but then not every one of them are vulnerable. If the wallet, you probably know that if it has not engaged into any transmission, transaction, the public key is not exposed as of yet. So if the wallet has only received something but never sent anything, the public key is not exposed there. But if the wallet has ever sent something, just 0.00001 Bitcoin to someone else, that public key has been exposed. Once it's exposed, Q-Day, come, quantum computer, reverse it back to private key, and then toasted.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, this scares me. And as of right now, pretty much everyone is, minus a couple of the, but again, none of these guys are big enough. But as of right now, all the big boys, we'll call it the top 30, 40, 50 cryptos by market cap, everyone's at risk, right? Present day, if we don't change things.
Absolutely. And the problem, the bigger of the problem is not even what we just talked about. It is not for the future. It is for yesterday, because there's a basically the U.S. government, the president's office, has issued a letter, official letters to the agencies, asking the agencies to be very mindful for a powerful and famous hacking activity called HNDL, harvest now, decrypt later. So that means everything that they can grab today, which is very easy, they cannot decrypt today, but they can wait until they got hold of a quantum computer or a powerful quantum computer before they decrypt. So anything that is already publicly available that hackers can very easily get hold of, such as public key of crypto wallets, they can get hold of it. They may already have it yesterday, and they just wait until they get hold of that quantum computer powerful enough for them to do the D-Day, the Q-Day works, then they apply it. So you don't know. It's already, the risk is already there. You convert to post-quantum, the sooner you got protection. Otherwise, you just don't know when they get hold of your data and when they will do the dirty work. So,
Gotcha. Okay. All right, you're scaring me a little here. Jeez Louise. Let's take a quick break. We'll give a huge shout out to our sponsor of the show. And then we'll get into some positive stuff. We'll get into some, how is O1 Quantum, Andrew and the team working on building solutions to patch all of these incredible holes. Until then, huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News podcast. We love the team at Prime XBT, as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. Doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet, you can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running exclusive promos for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50. That is CryptoNews50, CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Huge shout out to Prime XBT. As always, love the team there and very grateful for the sponsor. Jumping back in with Andrew. Okay. We just sort of started off with a little doomsday, which is good. It's, like a good pitch deck, or like a lot of things in life. It's good to start with the problem, set the stage, set the table, and then we talk with the solution. Let's jump into the solution, unless there's any more problem statements you'd like to discuss. But let's jump into the solution. What do we, as crypto folks, need to do? And it's really not even the crypto folks. It's the quantum computing folks like you. What do the quantum computing super nerd Spocks, as you like to call it, what do the folks like you need to do in order to save our bacon and make our tech PQC compliant?
Yeah, this is also another very good question, and that's exactly bringing back 7 years ago when we dive ourselves into PQC. Our business model was to use our encryption library, which is based on the NIST recommended non-math-based encryption, right, which is quantum safe, in order to help our customers or the customers of our customers to go through their PQC conversion journey. So whether you have a new application or you have an existing applications wanting to convert, we have a way to help. So the latest announcement we had with Hitachi was a typical example that we were helping them converting their existing remote access applications to become quantum safe. And then we also have announced maybe probably a week ago, helping a crypto foundation doing more or less the same thing for cryptocurrencies, because the things that is being affected is quite across the board. Whether you are email, your cryptocurrencies, AI, remote access, everything, as long as you rely on cryptography or cybersecurity, you will be affected by this Q-Day fiasco. And our job is to help converting your existing project or a new project to become quantum safe. And almost everyone will be requiring that kind of a conversion, not even just before Q-Day, even yesterday because of the HNDL, harvest now, decrypt later attack.
So how do we walk me through the steps here? A couple concerns on my end. What could a chain like Bitcoin or Solana or Ethereum or Sui or BNB or Hyperliquid or any of the chains in the top 30 that have a lot of TVL and they're building a lot of really important real world apps to help crypto go mainstream outside of just financial primitives? Do we have to fork the whole chain? Like, is there going to be a day where we're going to have to migrate chains to a PQC compliant chain? Is it as easy as just sort of going off chain, quick lookup to something quantum related back on chain? What does the future look like here in your eyes?
Yeah, in fact, it is a very super hard problem. The reason why it's a super hard problem, specifically for cryptocurrencies, is because cryptocurrencies depend on cryptography. The name cryptocurrencies because it depend on cryptography. So the fundamental bedrock of whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or whoever, the fundamental bedrock is using elliptic curve as the electronic signature to guarantee the authenticity of the owner of the wallet when they want to spend something, right? So the fundamental problem here is not about, many people talks about, well, yeah, can you use quantum computer to kind of like hacking the hash or creating a 51% hacking, this is not the problem. The problem is not here. No matter how, you want to protect the safe, there's a back door. That back door that open up from the back is the public key and private key that can be reversed. So the fundamental things to safeguard a cryptocurrencies, whether you're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana, or whoever, is to upgrade the signature to a post-quantum signature. Now, it sounds simple, but why is it so super complicated? It's because the fundamental data structure that these cryptocurrency has, since day one when Satoshi invented Bitcoin, he never thought, he or she or they, we don't know who that is, never thought about there's one day, well, that was like only maybe talking 16, 17 years later, we'll be having a quantum computer. So they never thought about that. So the data structure is very efficiently created for the size of the elliptic curve signature and the elliptic curve public key, which is smaller than the PQC counterpart. So when you change to PQC, it is still not very big, but it's in software you are 1 byte too large. It just doesn't fit. So you have to completely overhaul the infrastructure. When you overhaul the infrastructure, it means hard forking. And no one likes hard forking, but it is something that is unavoidable. It's just like, how the best analogy is like when you have the bedrock that was used to build a building. Like if you have built a small bungalow, it's fairly easy to make the whole change, right? But if you have built a skyrocket, like skyscraper on top of the bedrock, like blockchain, right? Then it's very, very difficult to redo the whole thing. And once you talk about hard forking, it's a topic that no one likes to talk about, but it's unavoidable. That's the reality, the hard reality.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow, next couple of years are going to be wild. I could be wrong here. This is way above my pay grade, but I don't think this is yet priced in. We're also probably too far away, but as we get closer to Q-Day, I assume some capacity of Q-Day will be priced in. And we're not a price prediction pod, so we won't get into that. But let's get into O1 Quantum. Before we get into the solutions that you guys are building in regards to PQC tech and safeguarding, trillions of dollars of crypto assets, Walk me through the rebrand. It was O1 Communique for, heck, I guess 25 years, more than 25 years. And just a couple of weeks ago, the rebrand happened to O1 Quantum. I think it's great. It's a lot easier for the street, a lot easier for retail and quantum stocks. Obviously, you guys are publicly traded in Canada under the ticker 1.V. Public quantum stocks are very trendy right now for good reason because of exactly what you just talked about. So walk us through the rebrand, and then we'll get into what you and the team are doing on the crypto PQC side of things as well.
Yeah, we should have actually done that 7 years ago when we're making that change. And however, as I keep saying that the topic of quantum or PQC or Q day, right, has been in a mood that people are trying to avoid discussing the problem because it's too hard of a problem. So when it is not an immediate threat, people try to ignore it and kick the can down the road until, now, as I said, suddenly in December, 7 months ago, 8 months ago now, when Google announced their breakthrough in quiet qubit development and Microsoft Majorana 1 topological core, it puts people back into the spotlight knowing, hey, it is real. It is for real. Okay. So the attention is back to the whole thing. So then we thought it's about time to make the change. And also at the same time, a lot of the partners that we have been talking for like a year or two about, Hitachi being one of them, about converting to become quantum safe, they were in a holding pattern until suddenly after waking up by those Google and Microsoft announcement, they are moving along, and suddenly they say, "Hey, let's get something done, and we want you to do that yesterday." So we thought the moment finally came, so we pressed the button and made the move. Which, as I said, we should have done that, some years ago, but it is the perfect time to do it now.
I love it. Better late than never. Walk me through what you guys are building. Again, I've been following you and the team, and of course the stock. As a publicly traded company, you can't, tell us about all the good stuff. Unlike in crypto, where, when 99% of my guests come on, we can let it fly. They can talk about a lot of forward-looking statements, forward-looking stuff. When you're a public company, you are regulated, and you just can't do that. So please let us know, Andrew, whatever you can let us know about what you and the team are currently building and what you guys will launch, down the line as well.
Yeah, I'm very happy that we have signed up the new foundation. We basically were contracted to build a quantum safe token for them, and they will be announcing a marketing launch in September, which is only a few weeks from now, and there will be more details about what they are trying to do. I keep saying that we're not a crypto marketer. We are the technical people who can build the chain. We can build the smart contract. We can build the quantum safe technology. And the best analogy is like, we know how to build a weapon, and then they know how to use the weapon. And that's what we've been contracted to do. And fundamentally, it is a quantum safe token that we are building for them. As the press release says, we are using a patent pending technology that we have invented by using witness proof technology in order to shrink the signature and the public key into a size that can fit the existing blockchain, so that you don't need to change the infrastructure of it. So that's what we're doing, and it has been listed out in the press release. So don't worry, we are not disclosing anything non-public, because it's all being disclosed.
Gotcha. Totally understand. Okay. What's the low-hanging fruit? What's first, at least what you can tell us? Like, is there a specific part of the off-chain lookup, or is there a specific part of the quantum tech that you guys are building that the public can at least play around with at the very beginning? Again, I know it's the public company thing. It's a little harder to get into, but is there any particulars you can sort of tell us about?
Yeah, I would say that I will start from the fact that it's affecting just about anything. Whether you are remote control, you are VPN, you are cryptocurrencies, you are AI, or anything are being affected. So what we have announced publicly was like two fundamental projects, one for remote access and the other one for cryptocurrencies. And we are going to announce something that is very closely related to AI. Because for the most part of 2024, we actually have been working on finding a crossover between AI and and quantum safety. Like you may be surprised that if you follow AI, you will find that for AI query today, or they call AI inference, right? It's all being done unencrypted. Everything that you ask ChatGPT or you ask DeepSeek is open. They know what you're asking. Okay, so there's no privacy here. So for a lot of the special purpose AI, for example, when you are doing a credit card fraud detection, for example, or facial recognition or medical advice model, those user data are extremely highly confidential that no one would be willing to open and feed that into a third-party AI vendor without being encrypted. So what we have done, and also we have filed a patent protection 4 months ago, was a method, very special method to encrypt both the user data and the AI model before doing the query, and then rendering an encrypted answer back to the user that only the user has the private key can decrypt. So that is something that is really, really super excited, and we're going to tell the world about it very, very soon too.
That's awesome. A little tight for time here, Andrew. Last question before we wrap up here, mate. You guys announced a partnership late last week with Tony G, who you and I obviously both know very closely. With Tony G's new crypto foundation, this is just an incredible partnership. Very fortunate to know Tony as well. And Tony's a guy you don't bet against. And when he does something, he wins most of the time. That's just who Tony is. Tony has many incredible traits, but his best trait of all, in my opinion, is his ability to identify trends before they even become trends and before they go mainstream. Tony's done this with quantum as well. I know you can't tell me a whole lot about this, but what and how are you guys working together with Tony G's new crypto foundation?
Yeah, I think kind of like briefly mentioned a couple of minutes ago was we're trying to build a quantum safe token for the foundation. And the token is going to be based on our patent pending solution that can shrink those very large quantum safe signature and the quantum safe public key into the existing infrastructure of an existing chain. Whether the chain is Solana or Ethereum or Bitcoin, we can shrink them. And that's what we're building. And the foundation, as far as I know, will be having a marketing launch sometimes in September. And they're talking about a very short time frame, just like any project that we've been spending a lot of time pitching. And then when they were convinced, and we always ask them then how fast you want the solution. And the answer always says is we want it yesterday. So this is no different. So we only have a few months. They only gave us a few months to deliver for them. So it's a very short time frame that you will hear what they're going to do, and they're going to make some announcement to the crypto world of their marketing and go-to-market strategy.
I love it. Andrew, what an episode. Appreciate you coming on. Your episode's going to air very shortly. But any news or anything else you can tell us about before we let you go today? And if not, totally fine. Let our listeners know where they can find you personally online and on socials. And of course, 01 Quantum, previously 01 Company.
Yeah, I think what I want to say is, being a public company, we cannot disclose a lot of things that is not public. But I would say that there are a lot of things happening. So please stay tuned of our press release, and anything that in the latest development, we will make timely announcement. And now we have entered a mode that 48 hours or 24 hours is not enough, for a day. So we are extremely busy, and all kinds of projects are going on. And everyone, as I said, everyone wants the project delivered yesterday. So we don't have many yesterday.
Love it. Andrew, really appreciate your time here, folks. What an episode with Andrew Chung, CEO and CTO of 01 Quantum Inc. I keep calling it 01, excuse me. Quantum Inc. I always mix up zeros and O's, but c'est la vie. Huge shout out to Andrew and the team for making this happen. What an episode. The history of quantum computing, quantum's threat to crypto, building a quantum safe crypto token, and a little bit of everything else. We even got into Q-Day, RSA, and elliptic curve encryption as well. Again, huge shout out to Andrew and the team. If you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope you did, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking to the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And back to the listeners, guys, you are the best. Appreciate you tuning in. As always, keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Keep on growing those bags. Love you guys, and we will see you on the next one. Ciao.